One company in particular that is doing its best to retain its current staff is Google. Their employees are reportedly some of the happiest in the industry, and the benefits available to them are beyond normal expectations. A major issue facing developed country is an aging workforce. With the soon-to-be retired baby boomer generation, companies are going to need to find a large amount of replacement workers to fill this vacancy. A new trend shows that companies sourcing talent from foreign countries to deal with this issue. With the possibility of globalization of workers, the key issue of retaining employees is becoming more difficult. Now, companies not only have to worry about competitive organizations domestically, but internationally as well. I am now joined by Laszlo Bach, Google's Chief People Officer and mastermind behind their internal corporate reign, to talk about their internal workings. Hello, and thank you for joining us, Mr. Bach.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Google employees seem to be very happy and motivated. How did you come up with and execute the strategy so well?
Well, here at Google, we try to achieve success by staying equal with our employees. In other words, the managers and CEOs try to interact with our employees in a very personable way, which we feel would make them feel very comfortable. We try to make them feel empowered and capable by giving them our trust and authority in order to accomplish these tasks. When our employees have problems with something, they are never afraid to ask us for help, along with other problems or questions that may arise. We like to keep a tight family here, and this contributes to our success. Another thing that I would like to point out is that we create a very flexible work schedule for our employees so that they're able to have a life outside of work, and we understand the need for this.
So tell me a little bit more about the training programs here at Google.
Well, our training programs are very specific to the employee. Basically, we understand the needs and skills of our employees before we train them for the position, so that we ensure that they gain the correct knowledge and skills for the position that they were lacking before. We make sure that they are completely fit for the job so that they can be effective and successful at it. I mean, who would want to come to work and to a job that they don't really know how to do? I know I wouldn't.
Tell me about your HR strategy.
Well, we try to work out the best and most cost-effective ways to retain our staff as part of this long-term strategy. And I think this is where Google really stands out. We call our HR department POPs, People Operations, which is more of a science lab than an HR department. At the heart of POPs is a sophisticated employee data tracking program, an effort to gain empirical certainty about every aspect of Google's Workers Lab. This helps with our evaluations and tells us how we can do better as managers and as a company with our employees. We make thousands of people decisions every day. Who should we hire? How much should we pay them? Who should we promote? And who should we let go? Basically, what we try to do is bring the same level of rigor to people decisions that we do to engineering decisions. Our mission is to have all people decisions be informed by data.
So I heard you monitor your employees not only during their work, but in their private lives as well. Have there been any issues with privacy in this matter?
Well, we try to make sure that we are non-biased and non-discriminatory in doing so by selecting the correct aspects to monitor, such as the number of children, work habits, effectiveness at work, etc. We also make sure that all of our employees know that they're being monitored in these ways, and if they have any problems with this, they can tell us, and we can mold the program in their favor. So far, all of our employees have been happy with this, and our effectiveness ratings and retention ratings have gone up because of this.
So I've heard the benefits here at Google are some of the best in the industry. Can you elaborate more on this?
Well, yeah, this might sound ridiculous, but we've recently announced actual death benefits at Google. One of the things that we realized recently was that one of the hardest but most reliable facts of life is that at some point, most of us will be confronted with the death of our partners. It's a horrible and difficult time no matter what, and every time we went through this as a company, we tried to find ways to help the surviving spouse of the Googler who passed away. Obviously, there's no benefit to Google, but it's important to the company to help our families through this horrific, if inevitable, life event. When we think about employee needs at Google, we think less about how old you are than what we do about your particular cluster of needs. For someone who fits a certain profile, say an aging parent to take care of kids or grandkids to support, whatever your cluster of needs are, we do our best to discern the best package of perks and programs to meet them. There is, of course, research that shows employee benefit programs like ours can improve retention and appear to improve performance on some level, and this is what we try to keep in mind.
What comments do you have about people saying, of course Google can implement these benefits, they can afford it?
Well, yes, I've heard these, and to be perfectly honest, it turns out that the reason why we're doing these things for employees is not because it's important to the business, but simply because it's the right thing to do. When it comes down to it, it's better to work for a company who cares about you than a company who doesn't. And from a company standpoint, that makes it better to care than not to care.
I'm now joined by Daniel Zagovich, a programmer here at Google. So Daniel, how have the perks here at Google changed your commitment to staying?
Well, I've always felt good being here at Google because of the culture of equality, but the reason I wouldn't leave is that I now know that should I die, my wife will receive 50% of my salary for a decade, and my son will receive $1,000 a month until he's 19.
Does working for Google give you time for your family life?
Well, definitely more than working anywhere else. When I had a new baby, I got 6 weeks off, and when I'm at work, I can make appointments here, I can see a doctor, I even get my hair cut here, so when I'm done working, I get to just go straight home.
The equity theory states that employees compare themselves to others and change their productivity to match them. Do you think that this causes people to perform below potential?
I think people didn't get here by being slackers. People are pretty driven at working for Google. The fact that we get stock options mean people are invested in the company, so everyone does their best. I don't really think that's a problem here.
I'm now joined by Joe Young, a software engineer at Google. So Joe, how do you think that the benefits here at Google affect your commitment and loyalty to the company?
Google's really great because of its unique employee benefits, from personal things like going to my food and haircuts, all the way to benefits for my family if something were to go wrong with me. This being said, I commit myself to this company, and no other company really provides this generously.
I've heard that Google monitors their employees quite rigorously, actually, and I was just wondering what your thoughts were on being monitored.
I don't have a problem with it. None of my coworkers do either. I think it's beneficial to everyone in the company, and they don't exploit my weaknesses. They just help me improve.
It's clear that Google is leading the industry in employee satisfaction. With the threat of companies gathering foreign workers, it is apparent that Google is already well prepared for the issue. It seems that other businesses can learn a thing or two from Google and their amazing human resources department. It's no wonder Google remains king on Fortune's 100 best companies to work for list. While it is a multi-billion-dollar company, and some of the extremes, such as the gourmet food and haircuts on site might be a bit much, there's no doubt that when it comes to employee benefits, Google has it figured out.